You know that feeling, right? When you're stuck on a creative project, just hitting a wall, draft after draft. Well, what if one simple, but honestly pretty profound change to your process could unlock a massive breakthrough? That's exactly what we're digging into today. The story of a writer who did just that and found a truly transformational screenwriting technique.
So picture this. A screenwriter has been slaving away. They finished seven drafts of a script, and something's just not clicking. But then comes the 8th draft. And we're not talking a little bit better. This is a massive leap forward. Suddenly, the script is denser, it's richer, and the writing process itself is just faster and smoother than it has ever been.
So what on earth was the difference? I mean, on the one hand, you've got the old way, 7 drafts that came from a place of total frustration. And on the other, this huge breakthrough, all achieved in just 5 months. This wasn't just a tiny improvement. It was like the entire creative engine got swapped out for something way more powerful.
And that brings us to the big question, right? The one at the heart of this whole thing. It clearly wasn't about working harder. I mean, come on, the writer already did 7 drafts. It was about working differently. So what was the secret sauce? What was the one single change that could unlock such an incredible creative breakthrough?
Okay, here it is. The secret was surprisingly simple, but also really profound. Before even starting the script, the author spent an entire year writing a diary from the main character's perspective. Yeah, a whole year. It sounds intense, I know, but this one act, it changed absolutely everything. So let's give this a name. We'll call it character diary writing. And look, this isn't just about making a character sketch with a few fun facts. No, this is a deep immersion technique. The whole point is to stop thinking about your character and to start thinking as your character. You're documenting their life, day by day, until you have this deep, intuitive understanding of who they really are.
And the actual method? It's deceptively simple. It really just boils down to 3 key things. First, you pick your main character. Easy enough. Second, you commit to living in their head from their perspective for 1 full year. And third, and this is what makes it totally manageable, you just write a 4-line diary entry every single day. That's it. It's all about consistency over intensity. That's the real magic here.
And this timeline, man, it really puts that commitment into perspective, doesn't it? A full year dedicated only to the diary. And then, after all that deep immersion, the actual first draft came together in just 5 months. That's incredible. It really proves that the year of pre-writing wasn't a delay at all. It was an accelerator.
So, what was the first big payoff for all this work? Well, it completely revolutionized the main character. It took them from being just an idea on a page to a person who feels, well, truly alive. And this quote from the author really says it all. The process wasn't just about making up details. It was about discovery. It let the writer get inside the character's head to see their innermost thoughts and feelings. You know, the kind of deep, private stuff that you just can't know from the outside looking in. So here's the bottom line. This method takes a character from being a collection of traits to being a person with real psychological depth. They have a history, they have secrets, they have their own unique way of seeing the world. They feel real because for a whole year they were real to the writer.
But the cool thing is, the benefits didn't stop with just the character. When your protagonist is this deeply realized, they become the engine for the whole narrative. They don't just react to the plot you've created, their own authentic motivations and desires actually start to drive the story forward in these really surprising and organic ways.
This slide shows a huge shift in perspective. You know the old way, right? Making these external charts to map out how all the characters relate to each other. Well, the new way? Everything gets filtered through the protagonist's gaze. You're not deciding how 2 characters feel about each other from the outside. You're discovering it through how your main character sees them and interacts with them.
And the effect of this was massive. All the relationships in the story felt more organic, more authentic, because they were all growing from one single consistent point of view. And all of a sudden, managing that complex web of a story got a whole lot easier, because the main character became the anchor for literally everything. So, why are we talking about all this? Why does it matter to you? Because this isn't just some quirky story. It's a potential evolution in your own creative process. It's a really powerful method you can adapt for your next screenplay or your next novel or whatever story you're working on. All right, so let's wrap up the key benefits here. That big investment of time up front, it pays off big time. You get this incredible character depth, which naturally creates more authentic relationships. That solid foundation makes your entire plot stronger. And the amazing result of all that is a writing process that's not only faster, but also gives you a richer, denser script in the end.
And that really brings us to the final thought. This technique, it's about more than just writing. It's about empathy, it's about deep listening. So as you start thinking about your next project, ask yourself this: what secrets is your character waiting to tell you? What would you discover if you actually spent a year just listening? What kind of diary will your next protagonist write?